Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holders podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. Y si tú quieres cambiar tu vida, if you want to change your life, then subscribe. Cha-ching! By the way, guys, I just published my book out on Amazon called Shabbat in Chicago. It's about an audacious single mom who opens her heart and home to five adopted kids while embracing her Latino culture while being Jewish. And today we have a very special guest. I think it's like his eighth time I'm back on the show. He's one of my closest friends, my brother, my Caruso. Give it up for the one and only Michael. What's up, brother?
Uh, Hey, shalom, shalom, my lord. How you be?
Good, brother. I miss you, man. It's been a while, man, to have you back. I know you've been busy with life and work, you know.
It has been a different year, but I'm in a better place than I was last time I was on your podcast, and partially thanks to you and the things that we've been talking about. So appreciate you, bro.
Oh, of course, man. I love talking to you, brother. I feel like we have a lot of deep talks, and you teach me stuff. I teach you something. I think that's part of learning, right? That's how we grow as people. I do want to share something, right? I gotta
Mm.
say is, the topic for today is more about mentorship, right? How we can help a brother out, right? Or like you share with me, am I my brother's keeper,
Yeah,
right? That's the nice way to
yeah,
say
right,
it.
exactly, bro. Yeah.
Um,
I
I,
mean, that's why I usually go by Brother Mike, because I'm like, people have a hard time, grasping that. I'm like, reason. I mean, that was the first, like, sort of like name I was given when I joined my congregation. Before they knew my name, I was just brother, not brother and Mike, just brother. So, when I meet in people, like, and I'm like, hey, I'm Brother Mike, like I'm your brother, like you just never met me before.
wow, I like that. I like that. You have me thinking, right? There's something just popped in my head where if you think about it, um, Samuel was like almost a mentor to little David.
Oh, definitely, bro.
You feel what I'm
Definitely,
saying?
definitely. Not almost, definitely.
Right. He anointed him that he was going to be king. He was
Yeah,
the youngest, and he had his back. He was there for him when he needed him. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I feel
And
like
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like he was, and David went through a lot, and I feel like it's a nice to see that kind of relationship, right? It could have been King Saul, could have been David's mentor,
mm,
but it wasn't because King Saul had a lot of envy, jealousy of David.
mm,
And you can see that in life, you can't pick your mentor, the mentor finds you. That's how I look at it. You feel what I'm saying? You can meet so many people, but you're gonna feel there's gonna be that one person that's like, I'm here for you. And you don't even have to really explain. You just gravitate to them. They gravitate to you. You feel what I'm saying?
I would definitely agree with you, bro. But you know what I've always been taught, and I think you might have heard this before. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Ooh.
So it's got to be both ways. That the mentor has to be ready to mentor, and the mentee has to be ready to receive the mentoring. So, that's like the other half of the equation. But I agree with what you said. It's the men. I mean, you know, the mentor went out and got all this knowledge, and we're talking about, Shemuel, right? Samuel. Like, if he didn't have all that knowledge, then Melech David, King David, would have not became king. So it's both. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a balance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I love that. I love that. And brother, if you can share too, how has you growing up in Chicago, right? How did you find your mentor? Like, or tell us the journey when you're like, man, this is like that person that really helped me in my lowest and my struggle. Because I know you got a lot of story, but tell us a little bit about your journey in finding your mentor.
I would have to say what you just said a moment ago was spot on. He found me, and you're right about that. I had gotten in trouble so many times as a kid, and I got arrested for I think it was like I broke some windows on a bus or something because some kid was bullying me or something like that. I can't remember. I'm talking about like 30 some years ago. And then I got taken to the police station, and my aunt, I've been taken to the police station so many times. She's like, "I'm not coming to pick you up." So at that point was then stranger. Now today is, I consider my godfather. He found me and he took me home. We connected because we're both Jewish, and he brought me home. He saw the situation I was in, how tough it was, and that was like 35 years ago, almost, bro. Um, yeah, so he found me, but at the same time, had I not opened up to him, I might have, what I mean, had I not told him I'm from a Jewish household, I live in the Albany Park area, that, the situation I was going, if I hadn't opened up to him, he would not have, I would just been another kid because he was a juvenile officer, at the police station. And, they have a tough job because sometimes, I'm not saying always, but sometimes the police arresting kids, to get their numbers up. And in this case scenario, they were in the right. I had I had broke the law and they arrested me, but I guess he had seen so many kids come through that maybe I came through at the right time.
Or I have something to say. Or he saw a light in you that you didn't see yet. That could be another thing. Because if you think about it, when we're in our dark places, right? We're 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 trying to get the intention of our parents most of the time. As young kids, if we're becoming rebellious, it's because we're not being heard of at home. We need someone to listen to us. And the fact that your godfather, he had to see something spark. Like, yo, this guy, I wanna take him in. Cause I'm gonna be honest, it's very scary to let a stranger in your home if you don't know him, right? You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But he had good intentions, and that's a beautiful thing because you guys still talk. Now, brother, I want you to share too. Like, I know you're part of this big mentorship program with your brother. If you could speak on that, on how that has been like a new outlet now, like a new way to connect with the youth and inspire them. I think that's amazing what you're doing, brother. If you could share about that.
Um, Thank you. I would say this. First, I'd tell you a little bit of history about the program. It's WTF, and no, it's not what you think. So, WTF stands for What's the Formula? It's a mentoring academy. My brother, who's been on your podcast before, Ernest Moss, and his colleague, Dimitri Hambrick, about, I want to say 3 years ago, the two of them met at a mentoring seminar, and like one of those like real expensive mentoring seminars type, what I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
a couple grand. So they met there and they got there early. They were both like the first two people there. So I guess that was what they clicked, right? You know, hundreds of people or maybe thousands, I don't know, were coming to the seminar. And these were like the two first people there. So, the platform was born from that idea that they went to mentorship and that they wanted to start their own mentoring program. So right now we're in I want to say our second cohort. We're working on putting together our third cohort. First one was male. Now this one is males and females. So we're doing co-ed, And but that's not the only thing that they're doing, but that's the main thing. So what's the Formula Mentoring Academy? That's the official title. But he's also providing services for people that are going through a different program, dealing with like being unhoused and dealing with addiction and things of that sort. So that's a second part to it. So we're mentoring young adults, and we're also mentoring grown adults. So there's two sides to the platform, and but it all comes back to my godfather. Like that's what sort of drew me to it. Like he mentored me, and now I'm hoping God willingly someday maybe one of the people in this program can say something about me 30 years in the future.
Mm. I like that. Pay it forward. Pay it
Yes,
forward.
sir.
I like
Yeah.
that. I think
Baruch
that
Hashem.
what you're doing is great, brother, because a lot of youth they need it. We're taught especially in the black and brown community to not speak about our feelings, to hold it. You're a man. You can go. You're gonna get over it. Just go play some basketball. You'll feel better. Nah, it doesn't work like that. We have a lot of things that we're battling, but sometimes we need that help. I think a interesting topic we were sharing last time was about how you and I we lost a very close friend from drug addiction, and I think that these youth, especially in Vegas, a lot of the adolescents, one of the biggest things they die from is fentanyl. It's a big one. I met
Mm.
with this clergy for this judge, and she said that she lost a friend, her son's friend, who was 19, from fentanyl. She overdosed, and it's so sad, so young, right? And you always have to ask, what's the root? What caused them to do it? Why did they choose it? Who introduced it to them, right? All these things. A lot of times it's because they're hiding something that is too hard for them to open up about. So when you take this drug, you forget about it for a moment. It's a momentarily, it's a good, it makes them feel good for momentarily, but once it fades away, you're back to reality. You know what I'm saying? What you think about that, brother? From what I said, any thoughts?
You're spot on. I have been fortunate to overcome addiction. I got injured when at the very beginning of my career. I had surgery on both of my shoulders, and that was during at the height of the opioid epidemic. So they were handing them out like candy, and I had to deal with that. And it was a real wrestling match. And Baruch Hashem, thanks be to God that I'm in a better place now. But you're 100% right about people trying to run away from their past, and the hurt is just so it's so deep that you just want to numb it. But the problem is the numbness wears off, just like the anesthesia or the Novocaine wears off, and when it does, the pain comes back even worse.
Yeah, it's true, and that's why I always say that you know, yes, for that those individuals that are hooked in drugs or
Yeah.
alcohol, they take it because it's right in front of them. You got family, they might have it, or
Yep.
friends. It's easy accessible for them. I became the first time, and I think I shared this with you, but when I got hypnotized for the first time in
Mm.
Chicago, it gave
Yeah.
me a new, I like to say, revelation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But but it gave me a new idea, a new philosophy I've never had. Where when I was hypnotized in Chicago, and this guy was a big timer. He was on my podcast. He The feeling I had was the same feeling I felt like if I was high on marijuana or weed. I felt happy. I felt like I was out of this universe for a second. The amazing thing about this effect is that when he woke me up with a snap, there's no after effects. There's
Mm.
no The drug has no control over me. It was all in my mind. So that feeling of highness, let's say, that I was in, right? Was it really real? Was it just my mind making me believe I was there? But the best part is when I woke up, I still have control of myself, David. When you take drugs, there's after effects. You got hangover. You feel tired. You feel lazy. You feel like I don't want to do anything, but I want to do it again.
You're right. You're right.
So it has a negative effect. And now I personally believe that hypnotherapy is the best treatment for to make yourself believe that you don't need those drugs.
Hmm.
That your mind can actually help you get into that stage if you concentrate in your mind, if you meditate, you focus. He was sharing me a study where he's helped a lot of people that were they couldn't stop smoking cigarettes. They're smoking
Okay.
like 3 packs a day or two, and when he had them hypnotized, he's like, You're never gonna want this no more." And when they
Mm.
woke up, they're like, "I don't want to touch it." It's almost like it was a switch.
I'm with you on that, and we're big about that at the program. Like the first 4 weeks, it's about the mindset. Trying to rewire how your mind works. That is like the foundation of the program, because once you can change your mindset, then you can add new sets. Like new skill sets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I I don't know much about hypnosis. I just saw like a lot of movies and read a lot of books how like hypnosis could have like the whole Manchurian effect. You know what I mean? Where somebody snaps their fingers and all of a sudden you think you're a prisoner in Russia or something like that. At least that was the book that I read it from. It was the Manchurian Candidate, so something like that. It was like a president they had kidnapped and they took him, and then whenever they would snap their fingers, he would like imagine that or they would say a word, and then he would imagine he's in a Russian prison cell, and then they could control what he was doing. So I'm a little paranoid when it comes to hypnosis. I'm not ready to sign up for it, bro. Okay.
I actually saw the movie that you're talking about with Denzel
Oh,
Washington.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great movie. So
I read the book. I never saw the movie.
oh, you guys see the movie. I know the book is better, but the movie is pretty good because it shows
Okay.
you how like Denzel Washington, he's like his character, right, in the movie. He has these dreams that he's trying to forget. And it's crazy right in the opening scene, his old like military brother that they were in the same unit or squad came up to him and was like, "Brother, do you have these dreams that do you remember that happened that night?" He's like, "Yeah." He says, "The whatever happened." He said, "No, but do you remember what they did to us?" And he has a
Mm.
book of all the things that happened to him in his dreams, and he left it there, right? Because he said, "Hey man, I think you need help." But then Denzel's character went through the same thing he went through.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's almost like, yo,
Nah, it might not be the same book, bro, but
but
it's the
the
same
title's the
concept.
same. The title's the same.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I mean, man,
No,
don't quote me on it, but
no, no, but
because I remember the one I read was something about the president. Was
yeah,
Denzel
yeah.
the president in the movie?
No, no,
Oh, he
no,
was.
no, no. But that's why it's the same book because his friend
Okay.
was running for president and he was trying to stop
Oh,
his
yeah.
friend. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay,
yeah,
this is the
yeah.
same book.
It's
Okay,
the one. It's
POD.
the one. Yeah.
I literally read that thing like, I don't know, 25 years ago, bro. I
Oh
mean,
man.
um, but look, let me touch on something with you right quick,
Yeah.
please.
Please share.
So like, because we always talk, we have like a podcast on a regular weekly basis. We just don't record it, right? But what I'm saying is that like you've been mentoring too, bro. Like think about it. Your midrash crew, your midrash class, the soul sessions, that's also like your opportunity to mentor and same thing, but you're mentoring like adults and stuff. So like, and I remember from your book, that was one of the chapters. I think Herb Timer, my mentor. So I guess his mentoring to you is what, or is that? Am I guessing wrong? Like
No.
why you do this mid rush thing?
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting you said that. My boss asked me the same thing. He said, why do you like doing this? Or where did you get the
Mm,
idea having a bunch of men hang out right in my house? And I said, that's a great question. You know, say the first thing
mm,
I said honestly, it was Carmen, which you know too. She was the first one to instill that in my mind, where she did it on Sundays with all my siblings, my cousins. We would learn from her Torah, Parshas, and I love that we got to debate with her, and then Herb Timer, who was an Orthodox Jewish person who took me in his wing, right? That was not family. Took me in his wing and basically helped me grow. And he will have his own class also Sunday too.
mm.
And it's
Gotcha.
it's amazing how seeing these two people who inspire me, who put together time and effort to put a class together. That's a lot of dedication, and that's a lot of that you can tell it's passion when they don't charge you. I
Yes.
always I always say that I don't agree when institutions charges people to learn about God. I don't think that's right. I think that you should learn to teach somebody because you like to teach them.
Mm,
I think that's more powerful. It's more, you can tell that's passion. The moment money gets involved, you forget what's the purpose. You're worrying about the time. I got to catch my next, you're not there then. You're outside. You're here, but you're not there. You're mine. So for my teacher, Herb Timer, to take the time to not only that, when he was my tutor for biology, he also didn't charge me.
mm.
And he could have.
Yeah, I remember that from the book. Like he said, maybe like he maybe charged you like once or twice, and then he told your mom, I can't because David has an old soul, and I meant to teach him, right? Something like
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah. That's it. That's it. That's what I said. You hit it spot on, and I think that's where I came with the now having my midrash class in my house. I feel like I can uplift my brothers. Just think about this. This is I have to share this. The moment I start eating salad for lunch,
Okay.
my coworkers now are bringing salad to work. Look at
That's
that.
great, bro.
And I'm not even saying nothing. They see me having my salad. They're like, hey, you know what? Instead of getting McDonald's, I'm going to get a salad.
That's great.
And it's amazing how what you do now can influence or inspire the people around you. Look, I stopped drinking, right? It's been, I think, 14 or 16 weeks.
Hey, hey,
Today is
hallelujah.
Monday. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. This is the longest I've ever done. And the fact that I stopped, now my friends want to make a goal that they want to stop for a year. They haven't been drinking. Um, they they they're choosing a different path, and I love
Mm,
that. I think that same with a mentor. Something I learned
yeah.
from you, brother. If I could share this, I gotta give credit. We had a very interesting topic about how a mentor, when they teach their apprentice or their mentee, the things they learn. Let's do martial arts. The master teaches their apprentice the form, the kata, the style, and then the student mimics the teacher. But eventually, the master wants the student to come and form their own style, and then become a master, a teacher. But a lot of times, what happens with the youth and with adults as
Mhm.
well is that they're stuck in the mimicking phase, where
Yes.
they're stuck where I'm gonna still copy this move,
Right. Right.
copy, right? Or I'm gonna be a nowadays. We're gonna put it in English term where people can relate.
Okay.
I wanna be that person's double ganger,
No, yeah, I know you're talking about like in
right?
Spider-Man. I know you're talking
Yeah,
about the
I want,
doppelganger.
yeah,
I know you're talking about
I wanna be his
their clone.
clone. I wanna,
Like Star Wars in Clone Wars.
right, right. I wanna act like him, have the same haircut, and I want to get famous. I want to get big. But what happens? The person that actually that person that's mimicking that superstar
Hmm.
passes away. They'll forget who he was. This person
Yeah.
that's the double ganger, because there's no more to copy. There's it's it and what happens to that person? They lose their identity. They
Mm.
lose who themselves because they're stuck in that phase. I'm a mimicker. I'm a copycatter. That's a part of a mentor. Us as our duty as a
Right.
people, as a leader, we're not supposed to be icons or idols.
Agree. Agree. Agree.
We're supposed to help you become your own originals, become your own basically legacy. We don't want you to
Yes.
follow the trends
No.
that's happening in social media. We don't want you to follow what somebody said or what the news told you to be or act. We want you to find yourself, but you. That's your we want you to find that spark, that light. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
share with you, brother.
That's a blessing. Thank you for sharing that, bro. Um, I what I try to tell the mentees when I bring them on, like, same thing you just said, but I have to keep it like, tight, concise, and I just say, um, you know, we're not here to tell you what you need to do. We're trying to find out what you want to do and make that what you need to do.
Ooh, ooh,
Because we were in a society where everybody's telling you what you need to do. Maybe what you want to do is what you need to do, but you need to figure out what you want to do, and I can help you figure out what you want to do, and then put together steps so you can accomplish it and become your want becomes a need is all I'm trying to say. So as simple as that. And we don't have that in the society. We have rote learning. You just learn things over and over and over. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, ABC, XYZ. And we have this rote learning, and then we're like sort of single-minded, like, if I'm not mistaken, like America is like one of the few countries that only has one language. You know what I mean? Like everywhere else, it's Spanish and English. It's in the Philippines, Tagalog, and we're like this. I forgot the word. When it's single language, everyone else is bilingual, trilingual. Where English is, and then go ask someone in Britain, they'll be like, "You're not speaking English." So
yeah,
but yeah. Um, Let me touch on one thing right quick with
yeah. Please,
Herb
please.
Timer, because I had a moment this week. The area that the shul that I pick up from, we have a cabinet outside of Beth Shalom B'nai Zek, an Ethiopian Hebrew congregation, where it's like a pantry, so that anybody in the neighborhood in the Marquette Park, excuse me, Chicago Lawn, which is also Marquette Park, they can come and just take food out of the cabinet, and I pick up supplies from them. And when I got there, I was picking up the supplies and I noticed a box of books. And for those who don't know, it's Jewish tradition. When a book has become worn out, that we don't throw them away, we don't burn them, especially not like religious books. We bury them. And I saw, I'm in a synagogue, and I was like, oh, that's a box I know what's in the box, I can see it. So I asked, the elder that always, lets me in to get the food. I was like, can I have one of those books? And, she was hesitant, because, it's a sacred item. And then I sort of sweet talked her into it. And, she gave me, my first, chumash, right? So, it's a real deal. It's nice too, bro. So that's my first Talmud, and it was really great because it's all in Hebrew except for like a few words. It's really the name of the rabbi who wrote it. Everything else is Iraqi Ivri. It's all Hebrew. And I thought of you, because until I started, really getting to know you better, I never studied Talmud, or the Chumash, or the Midrash. I never really studied any of that stuff. And then, I was going through your book again, and then let me share it with you.
Oh, step! I see it. I see it.
Check it out. I got it. I got two copies, but this is the one I wrote in. But when I was reading this, and you said page 106, you said that you're talking about Herb You said um, that many Orthodox Jews never read the entire Tanakh, or the Old Testament, what they call in English, before reading the Talmud. So, and it was amazing that popped up at the same time that I got this Talmud, because I'm like, I've read the Tanakh several times in English and in Hebrew, but now, at this age, I got my first Talmud, and maybe it's time. And I guess the real goal is that, because everything's in Hebrew, my goal is to read this in Hebrew, and it might take me more years to get to that level, but it just like it clicked together, you know what I mean? Because like, had I not started, studying with you, I might not have even been interested into, looking at the Talmud, honestly.
Wow, it's a
So
beautiful
thank you.
thing. Of course, brother. Of course, I love that you pulled out that page. That's beautiful, and like, and that's amazing thing, because I always say, something too that you taught me, and brother Alejandro too. He shared this too, brother David. He said that when you study Torah or the Bible, you can't look at it literally. You have to
Mm,
look at different angles, which comes to the term pardes, which is,
mm.
holistically. Was brother? Can you say it again? I know you know it better than
I'll
me.
make it swift. So, you got Peshat, Remez, Darash, and Sod, and then together it becomes Pardes. And I like to use layman terms, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and all together. It's holistically, wholesome, shalem, like shalom, whole. Holiness is that's what's the thing about Hashem. Hashem is holy. We're not holy. God is holy. As humans, we're not holy, and that's the whole reason we're trying to connect with this God forces, so that we can experience some holiness. And that's what you were talking about earlier, that buzz, that euphoria, that uplifting, from just reading and sharing and loving and caring. Man, I heard a great line. I was in this book that I've been reading, that my elder Moses Bowie, he turned me on to, and he said that, you know, we need to get from a place of hating people for no reason, and we need to move to a place that we love people for no reason.
Ooh, that's powerful.
And that's what studying Torah is about, my lord.
Yeah,
That's what studying Midrash is about. That's what studying the Talmud is about. That's what it's about, that we can get to a place that we could love people for no reason at all.
yeah.
We don't have to have I mean, how many people we hate for no reason, right?
It's true. Wow.
So yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm talking too much. What you
Oh,
got,
you're
bro?
good. You're good, brother. It looks like Zoom about to kick me out. So I just want to share. Thank you, brother, for coming. I love what we shared together. Guys, this is the Outlet to Reality, the oldest podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching! Y'all know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, the Outlet to Reality. My Snapchat's Take One Pass It, and my TikTok is at Yaakov28. And brother Mike, where can we find you?
You can find us at WTFMA.org. That's What's the Formula Mentoring Academy. Shalom, bro.